This is Ron Sloan, and you're listening to the Movie Raid Show.
It's time for the movie raid. Tonight's victim is actor Ron Sloan, that is known for his work in Friday the 13th, A New Beginning, 13 Fanboy, Dylan's New Nightmare, amongst others. Hello.
Hey, good morning.
How you been doing, man?
Oh, I've been doing great, getting ready for an interesting convention. I shouldn't call it a convention, haunted attraction. There's going to be 5 of us. Myself, Melanie Kinnaman, Deborah Sue Voorhees, Shavar. You guys probably haven't even seen Shavar in a while. And Dick Wien. We're all going to be at the Waldorf Estate of Fear in Lehighton, Pennsylvania, October 13th, which happens to be a Friday the 13th. So we'll be there 13th and 14th. It's going to be pretty crazy, man. This is the first time Friday the 13th, folks, at the attraction. So this is going to be pretty darn cool. And it's going to be fall, beautiful. Looking forward to it. Hope some of you guys can make it out there.
Dylan's New Nightmare is also on YouTube for the fan film Nightmare on Elm Street, which is on YouTube right now for viewing right now. And can you tell us a little bit about that without giving too much away?
Well, I'm very fortunate because I was actually approached, played the role of Nick Matthews, a casting director for Dylan's New Nightmare, playing opposite Miko Hughes. And everybody knows Miko from Pet Sematary and The New Nightmare on Elm Street. Well, now he's all grown up. In the movie, I'm casting another slasher film, and he's auditioning for me. And let's just say his audition goes a little sideways. Miko's awesome, man. Great guy. Dave McCrae from Canada plays the new Freddy Krueger, and this guy's got it going on. He is awesome. And Nora Hewitt did the special effects. She came in first place TV series Face Off. She also did the special effects in 13 Fanboy along with Meg Wilbur. What's nice about Dylan's New Nightmare, the cinematography is amazing. And that is Ben Meredith, who also did 13 Fanboy. So it's all in the family, man. Vince DeSante produced it, directed Never Hike Alone, Never Hike Alone 2, Never Hike in the Snow. He is the producer on Dylan's New Nightmare. And he was also in 13 Fanboy. So, when you have a horror family, we're a close-knit family, and it's just wonderful. I look at this as being that can turn into something very big. Cecil Laird is the director of it, and he really did a great job directing this film. Hopefully, he'll have some big projects in the very near future. He deserves it.
I haven't been a part of an existing franchise, or at least related to. Do you think this is the motivation an actor could step further in their career, or do you think there's a little bit of between opportunity and a little bit of a risk at the same time to only do a franchise at least once if you haven't done it already? I mean, there are high risks of as far as the success go, as well as downfalls at the same time.
I don't see any risk at all in this. If anything, I've crossed over to the other side. I'm a Freddy guy and a Jason guy now. What was great is it's just fun. It's amazing to me when I do conventions how people are so excited to see like Robert Englund or Kane Hodder. But it's cool to see how fans react and how much they love these characters and these actors. And like my fan base, it's just sweet. I totally dig it, and it just makes me feel good. And the stories I hear how people, all ages, have discovered Friday the 13th Part 5, been a blessing.
And many people, and filmmakers as well as young actors and so forth, there's nothing but sloons of fan films, and they have their own visions and how they want to do it and so forth. And that's also the big motivation because of these well-known franchises like Friday the 13th, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Child's Play, and so forth and so forth. And having been a part of that yourself, like, how does it really make you feel at this moment right now?
Well, film is film. The reality is it's the role. It doesn't matter if the film's 35 minutes long or 2 hours long. It comes down to, is it written well? Is it shot well? Is it directed well? And do you have really good talent to stand behind it. And all those recipes come together in Dylan's New Nightmare. I didn't look at this as quote unquote a fan film like it's something amateur. It's far from amateur. This has the quality of a feature film and deserves to be a feature film. And there were 32,000 views the first day. That's a lot. That's a lot of views, and I've already been approached on 2 other films. Scripts were sent to me, so we'll see. Who knows where this is going to lead? I just know that I truly, truly, truly enjoyed shooting it, working with the family again, and some new members of the family, like Cecil. It was just awesome. So I look forward to the next film. Whatever that will be, whenever that comes up. It's rewarding. It's not work when you love it.
Do you feel that like some of these spin-offs, there are a lot of spin-offs and something similar from these franchises, do you feel that it could be a little bit more or less challenging to further explore those franchise realm because they are either overlapping other existing sequels or, making TV series and whatnot? Do you feel that kind of takes away from what was originally put in today's history of horror?
Well, if anything, it's an honor to the original films. If you think about it, like I'm a car guy, so I can't really afford a real AC Cobra, Shelby Cobra, not the Mustang, but the actual original car. They're well over $2 million now. And so, I could do a replica. So there's nothing wrong with that. You appreciate what you appreciate and the love goes on. It's art. This is a form of art. And so the better the film, what's nice about Dylan's was it's top quality. I'm hearing just great things about the quality of the film itself. So, not just the talent, but everything, lighting, cinematography, everything is feature film quality. Yes, there's a lot of fan films out there by students, and that's how you learn, and there's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't take away from the original product. It's an honor, and this is how young filmmakers learn.
And some people luck out just being in something that becomes a little bit more than what it originally was, and there are a lot of films out there, lots and lots of films, especially in the horror, has not exactly got started in the race, but eventually had a big cult following, or at least some to a degree of popularity. And do you think that some of these actors who were in these franchises, a lot of people recognize you for this, but let's say you want to extend somewhere else in the film industry, do you like to stay in this particular area, even though you enjoy it? Do you think that a risk there as well?
It's not like I'm locked into just doing horror films. My wife would love me to do Hallmark, So it's what comes our way. When originally I did Friday the 13th Part 5, it was called Repetition. None of us knew it was a Friday the 13th. And actually it was panned at first. Everybody hated it because it was a copycat killer. And it definitely was a lot of bad comments about it. But as time passes and the franchise grew, it came into its own. And it's pretty amazing to me how strong it is. And a lot of people, it's their favorite. It started the whole franchise all over again. It also was the first one really with comedic relief with Carol Locatell and myself. It depends on your viewpoint on all this. I feel very fortunate to have gotten that role. It has led to really now, 20 plus years of appreciation from fans. And it makes me feel good. It's kind of interesting to go to a convention and meet whole families. We're talking about grandparents and parents and all these generations who've watched Friday the 13th and appreciate us. Truly, the love is amazing. Just the admiration and the memories. So I think that's pretty cool, man. It's just cool. I would love to be in another franchise.
Since your role from A New Beginning, even though it didn't gain right away as far as popularity goes, how did that really affect you as an actor from that role, right after the filming and everything was all done? And did that kind of halt you a little because of that, or did you kind of wait it out a little bit and see if, where the success was going to happen for your career?
Right away after that, I got Tales of the Dark Side, George Romero. Come on, that's a compliment. And then I did a film called Bonsai Runner with Dean Stockwell, and actually John Shepard was in it, which is kind of funny. I wore some of the clothes from Friday the 13th Part 5. So it all started. That was the whole machine starting up, and the horror family. I have no regrets at all. absolutely none. And I was never typecasted. I was still doing like some little sitcoms, big sitcoms, and soaps and things like that, tons of TV commercials. And so I wasn't like limited. People didn't look at me and go, "Oh, that's Junior." No, I really rarely got recognized as Junior. I can think of a couple instances that happened. But overall, I don't feel limited and typecasted in any way, shape, or form.
Even though the industry is a little bit wonky at the moment due to current events, but how would you guide someone, like, as far as limitations go? Would you say certain areas in the horror industry, they should stick with that, so where there is no limitations despite all the financial yada yada with that?
There are no limitations. You're limiting yourself if you're looking at that end of it. I mean, look, you have to get started somewhere. And for a young actor or filmmaker, camera, lighting, you got to start somewhere. Working on other people's projects, student films, interning. I mean, I started as a page at a TV studio for Norman Lear. I sat audiences down for 2 years. I mean, that sounds crazy, but I got to go into the director's booth every night that I worked. I got to meet the top stars. I mean, that whole era of the 70s. And I got to watch that acting ability. I mean, I was very fortunate. That was the best school in the world for me. So, I started out doing extra roles. There's nothing wrong with that. Being an extra allows you to watch talent work, and it's another type of schooling. So do what you can do. Do as much as you can do. I mean, I got my part in Friday the 13th because I was discovered at a little showcase doing a 5-minute scene, and Fern Champion and Pamela Basker were there, and they're the ones that cast Friday the 13th Part 5. And they asked me to improvise a backcountry hillbilly, and I got the audition for the movie, then I got a call back, and then a third call back, and got the part. That's how it worked. You got to start somewhere.
Do you have your own definitive definition between an incentive and motivation as far as an actor goes, even outside the film realm?
Well, your incentive is a couple of things. One, your incentive is to follow your dream. Your motivation, of course, it's one thing to make a living. It would be beautiful to make a living as an actor every day. Once you get a taste, and this was the hardest part for me, is when I did 13 Fanboy, I was very fortunate to work with Dee Wallace, opposite Dee Wallace. She was the mom from E.T. and Cujo and The Hills Have Eyes, and such a professional. She fed me. I mean, she was just amazing. You can't help but be at the top of your game. So when you're working with another actor / actress who knows what the hell they're doing, I mean, the chemistry was wonderful. Just like the chemistry was wonderful between Carol Locatell and myself in Friday the 13th Part 5. When you get into that mode, it's not work. It's love. It's passion. So your motivation and your incentive is to have that feeling. There's nothing better. I mean, I did not want to leave the set of 13 Fanboy. I mean, Deborah Voorhees, she was awesome. Did a great directing job. I mean, this was a wonderful project of love on her part. I mean, written, directed, produced. I mean, come on, man. Not everybody gets that chance. And so working with someone like that, the incentive is, God, I'd like to come up with a project that I can just fly with. And so I feel very fortunate to have those moments in my life. If you're dreading going to work, then it's not the right job for you. If you love what you do, that in which we love, we become masters of. This last project, Dylan's New Nightmare, I'm getting some nice kudos from it. I gotta tell you, I look forward to working on a sequel because I think it's growing into just a beautiful direction. That's interesting to say about a horror film.
Go ahead and plug in any websites or any dates or anything that we can check your appearances or even give added advice or anything. And again, Dylan's New Nightmare and so forth.
Yeah, well, the only convention right now coming up for me is October 13th and 14th. I wouldn't call it a con. It's a haunted attraction. It's had amazing write-ups over the years. Waldorf Estate of Fear in Lehighton, Pennsylvania, which is near Allentown. I mean, I've heard nothing but great things about it, and they're taking it to the next level by having 5 of us from Part 5 For those of you who have never gone to any sort of horror con or event, this is probably a great one because it's going to be very personable. It's only us. You're not waiting in 1,000 lines to get 1,000 autographs and maybe a glimpse of a top horror star. We're up close and personal. There's meet and greets and photo ops and all that stuff. So I think this could be something, especially for a new collector / fan. Plus, you get the horror attraction itself. I think that's going to be just awesome. I can't wait to do it.
There you have it, everybody. That is actor Ron Sloan.
Thanks for having me, guy. I appreciate it, Mike. I appreciate your audience.